You have to approach OCD from a point of view completely different from the conventional ones. From the viewpoint of psychological narrative analysis, OCD is a collection of symptoms revealed, not the causes. The same goes for other neuroses. You have to understand the causes of your OCD symptoms. If you just look at your symptoms and try to fix them, you will only succeed in curing them temporarily. However, the root causes that triggered those symptoms will still be with you. This is the reason why people experience a relapse of symptoms. To be completely free from your symptoms, you have to find the root causes and fix it. I think that this is one of the reasons why drug treatments and cognitive therapies can only be partially beneficial to OCD patients. Those treatments do relieve symptoms and at times attain full recovery, but the fact that the root causes that triggered those symptoms are still there does not change. Due to this, a relapse tends to occur in the form of old symptoms with immunity to previous treatments or in the form of completely new symptoms. Thus, we must find the root causes, analyze the way they were created and fix them. However, when you have severe symptoms that hinder your everyday life, you need to get other treatments, including drug treatments. Combining drug treatments and counseling therapies may be the best option for the patients with severe symptoms. It should be noted that such combination resulted in the highest clinical recovery rate. In this chapter, I want to explain the differences between OCD symptoms and the symptoms of other neuroses. You have to approach OCD from a point of view completely different from the conventional ones that you approach other neuroses. This is because the treatment of OCD symptoms is a prerequisite to the detection and elimination of the root causes of OCD. The vicious circle of OCD is that its symptoms become the part of its causes. You need to understand this. You had hard time dealing with your OCD because it wasn't easy for you to stop your obsessive behaviors. You couldn't accept external stimuli because you were too engaged with your symptoms. To relieve your symptoms, you need a certain level of mental energy, as you need to use that energy to deconstruct the conditions you are in. From the viewpoint of psychological narrative analysis, having OCD is like having a hole in a dam or a balloon containing your mental energy. You cannot do anything because your energy keeps seeping out. You cannot do anything because you are concentrating too much on your OCD. This is the reason why you must stop your energy from seeping out. This means that your OCD symptoms must be relieved as a first step for your recovery. In the case of other neuroses, when the root causes of a patient's problem is solved and his/her emotional turmoil is settled, you can observe his/her symptoms immediately improving. However, even if you solve the root causes of an OCD patient's problem, his/her symptoms linger on. This is the reason why you need to approach OCD slightly differently. You need to consider two things at the same time. You have to consider the treatment of OCD symptoms and the treatment of the causes of OCD separately. You have to stop OCD symptoms from escalating. At the same time, you need to remove the root causes of a patient's OCD so that he/she can stop feeding energy to his/her symptoms. You can reach a controllable condition only when both treatments are successful. If only one of the two is cured, the remaining will summon the cured, leading the patients to suffer a relapse. For example, there are many cases of an OCD patient's symptoms easing when he/she finds a social way out, career problems getting resolved, financial situations improving or family relationships mending. However, even though he/she may look better, when encountered with another problem, he/she tends to develop different symptoms. This is because the root causes of his/her OCD is still there. The symptoms may grow worse when he/she fails to get proper medication or the social way out he/she found disappears. On the contrary, even when the causes of a patient's OCD is temporarily solved through counseling, his/her symptoms tends to linger on and even grow worse little by little as time goes by. I'd like to compare this to the movement of a pendulum. Energy is required to start the movement of the pendulum. However, the pendulum keeps moving without additional energy input once the movement started. A car will still have inertia when its engine stops, but it will eventually stop moving due to resistances such as friction. OCD is more like a pendulum than a car. OCD symptoms move like a pendulum. They will not immediately disappear right after the power source is removed. You need to put effort to stop them from moving at the same time. This means that only when the root causes of your OCD are removed and your OCD symptoms are relieved, you can reach a full recovery free from a relapse. Your understanding and your disorder is a prerequisite for your streamlined recovery. Structural understanding on your OCD is also required for the successful removal of the causes of your OCD. This is the only way you can find the real causes hidden behind. When you artificially remove OCD symptoms without solving the root causes, you may end up developing different symptoms. This is because the energy that has been creating your symptoms is still left inside of you. This kind of relapse tends to be the cause of greater despair. In the next chapter, I will go through OCD symptoms one by one to help you to understand them better.